All right. So we're gonna create a tier list from S all the way down to D for where we believe everybody's alt should go. And I'm going to do this tier list because Premiere is out today. We're gonna make it based on if we are playing with 5v5, not for ranked, so it's actually a little bit more organized, and we're gonna make our decisions based on a 5v5 aspect. So not ranked, where anything can kind of like Reyna alt I would put higher in ranked, but I'm gonna put Reyna alt in D tier for 5v5 because Reyna alt is very greedy. You still need to pop off with it, and it can be really good, but it's so situational, and I don't think it's gonna actually be the game changer on a round for the most part in the 5v5 scenario. So where do we go next then? I kind of want to look for the weaker alts. I'm gonna also probably put Neon alts in the same category as Reyna. It's pretty much, it can cause a lot of havoc and you can take a lot of space, but it can also isolate yourself. So I think we got to put Neon in there for the same reason as Reyna. Doesn't feel as good. Phoenix alt in S tier, you said? I would put KO alt is going to go S tier, 100%. It's very similar to a Phoenix alt. You do kind of get 2 lives, but the key is it actually knocks down everybody else's utility. So if you're hitting any site, including if it's the Senti, I would put it in S tier. Phoenix, you're saying to put in S? I might get a lot of flack for this, but I'm gonna put Cypher into A tier, just off of this right here. I know, yeah, Thuggy's like, put it in S tier, yes. I'm gonna put Cypher in A tier though, because depending on when you actually use this ult, yes, it's not getting you kills, but like I said, for a 5v5 aspect, information of where every single agent is playing is kind of a big deal. So let's say that you get a kill, we'll say like kind of midway through the round, and we haven't used our ult yet. Once the timer gets down to a certain point, if we can throw our hat off and figure out where they are after there's like 30 seconds left, we have like pretty much free, whether we're attack or defense. If we're on defense, we know which site they're going to be hitting when there's only 20, 30 seconds left. So we already know what's going to happen. If we're on attack and we're using it right when somebody on our team is about to go take the site, maybe we're about to actually execute, we throw the hat, we know where everybody is. So I think we're gonna actually put it on A. And yes, the fact that it's also low cost, this is only a 6-point alt, so I'm gonna put it on A as opposed to S. Another S tier alt that we're gonna put on right now, I have so many that I'm like these 3 I really want to put obviously towards the upper, but S tier to me means to me that it's just going to be like a huge game changer within a round. You could argue that all 3 of these alts really force a good reaction, which is why I want to put them all in S, but I don't want to put too many in S. So I think we put the KJ alt in S, because KJ alt forces you to make a reaction off of it, right? You either have to, like, if we're attacking with it, you have to get off the site, or we have to trade another alt. We'd have to trade like a Brim alt for it. I think we're gonna put Brim alt in A because it's very situational. We can use it to counter alts. We can use it for post plants. We can use it to shut down certain areas. It doesn't feel quite like an S though, because it's kind of easy to get out of if you are trying to use it just to straight kill people, but it still causes a really good reaction. The alts are very situational, but that's why we're choosing the situation of it being a 5v5. We're in 5v5. It's not ranked right now. Do you take into consideration scenarios where you have number disadvantage? Kind of. I'm thinking more of like, you could argue right. This is a very subjective thing, right? This is just kind of how my brain is working. And like I said, could put this here. I could put this here. But I think we're gonna go with these for right now. I don't think KJ is ever S tier. I don't agree with that at all. In a retake, let's say we're playing Haven, if we're playing alt for retake, we know where the enemies have to go. If they have no way to kill this alt or use a piece of util, or another alt, I guess it's really only alts that counter it right now. Unless I guess you have lineups and stuff for raise satchel, raise nades. This is going to be S tier to me. And again, you're a KJ main, but you haven't been playing in 5v5 competitive, right? I'm talking 5v5 and we actually have set strats for stuff. This is taking into consideration that we're not just using it based on like what's happening. For total competitive 5v5, this is all based on Premiere. If we're going into Premiere, we're assuming that we're going in with good comms. Everybody kind of trusts each other to make good plays. Maybe we have literally set plays for different maps and stuff like that. I have to put this here. Breach ult. Breach ult, I definitely want to go A or S. I think we're going to go with A, though. Just because, yes, it's going to cause a reaction, but stuns I just think are really bad in this game, where even if somebody's full stunned, you can just one-tap them in the face anyways. So it's hard. I don't think I could ever put this as S, just because it just... Stuns suck. Stuns are kind of bad. Jet ult... Jet ult, we're gonna go with S, and I'm gonna explain why. Economy, right? So we're playing based on economy. They can be buying rifles for somebody else, so we can go a little bit more, like take a little bit more risks with our economy, assuming that our Jet is gonna use her ult for the gun rounds, or whenever, I guess. It can also just change around a gun round. It can create an eco round where if the Jet makes some space and gets some kills, they start getting guns and we win rounds off of it. So it's hard to not put Jet ult, in my opinion, in S tier. Even in 5v5 comp, I would also probably put this here even for ranked. It's just kind of like an OP ult. I think we can put Omen ult in D. So situational. It does, even in comp, the only times you really see it used are like, yes, you can throw some fakes with it, but it's kind of hard to like just teleport and take a bunch of space with it. You're usually going to get punished. So I don't think I'm going to be able to put Omen ult any higher than D, in my opinion. It's really kind of bad for not saying that the character itself is bad. I think he's actually got a lot of value otherwise. But I'd say he's a little bit lower than normal. Phoenix ult in 5v5 comp. I think I can actually only put an A. Maybe even just B. Because all you got to do is kill him again. Why KO ult, even though it's kind of like Phoenix ult, KO ult also suppresses. So it's kind of insanely good. Thuggy says nope. Thuggy does not. Brim is A tier. Nyx ult best. Again, I really think it's super good. If you're talking ranked, I couldn't put it anywhere under A. I would never put Phoenix ult under A, but in actual comp, think about it. All you're really getting to do is getting a second life, and you'll notice as you go up in the ranks, when people Phoenix ult, I don't shy away from a Phoenix ult. I just go aggressive and I kill it like it's nothing, and then now we know that they aren't gonna have their flashes up first, and if other people are funneling out, like they just kind of lose your value off of it. Still really good for retakes, so I'm never gonna be able to put it lower than B over almost ever. But it doesn't, I think, have as much value as like KO ult is just a Phoenix ult but better. That's why I think you don't see as many Phoenixes as opposed to a KO. There's just no real reason, right? I'm gonna put Ray's ult in the same spot as Phoenix. It's still a really good ult where it's gonna create space. People are gonna it's gonna cause a reaction. But good players are going to go aggressive if somebody tries to use it too early and they're able to just go punish it. So it's hard to put it actually higher than B than I can think of. Maybe A in ranked, but for 5v5 comp, I'd probably put it here. Sky ult, I would put in S, but I think I'm only going to put it in A. It's another info ult similar to Cypher. Info ults are super good, especially when you're playing in a competitive 5v5 scenario. Always gonna have a lot of value off of it. Big fan of Sky ult for retakes, for post plants. Really good value out of the Sky ults. Sage ult. Sage ult. I don't think it's going to be D ever. I would, in ranked, I would probably put it at B, but I want to put it possibly only in C, because if we already have to play for a res, it's kind of hard to just play for a straight res, right? Yeah, I think I'm with you with a C. I think I would put Sage ult on this because, yes, it can cause a reaction, but if they have like a Brim or Ray's ult or any of these other like kind of killing ults, when they go to res, we can like use any of these alts, and we know that we're gonna get some value out of our alts. So it kind of actually is like a double-edged sword. Can also swing around, right? So I don't want to put it in D because I do think it's do think it has a lot of value, but I don't think it has as much value as above at all. This ult is one of the hardest ones for me to place off of the top of my head. I don't think I would put it C because you can because it creates chaos in a 5v5 scenario. If you have another initiator like a Sky, let's say we throw the dart. Like, let's say we're playing Haven. We throw the dart, and then we immediately Sova ult onto, like, C, for example. It's causing all the chaos, and it allows the duelist to move up and create a bunch of chaos. Gain a bunch of space that we might not be able to get as cleanly. So, with set plays, I really feel like this ult can even go up higher. It also can be used in post-plant scenarios, but I'm not the biggest fan of post-plants. Maybe I am a little bit more of a big fan of post-plants for 5v5 scenarios. You know, like Premier League, like we're talking about, but I don't think it's quite at A. So I think at best I could probably put Silva ult at B, for being honest. I hate Silva ult. I killed my teammate with it yesterday. They deserved it. Viper ult in a 5v5 scenario. I actually really think Viper's got a lot of value. I think we can put Viper into A. On defense, you can like really lock down, force them to use a bunch of their own util to clear it. On a post plant, obviously, it's really great when you can have set plans to put everybody into it as well. It can be like a double-edged sword once you get numbers. It's kind of like you might want to pull it down just because if you like it's a 5v2 with a post plant. Like, let's say we got onto a site pretty cleanly, we put our ult up, we get 3 picks or 3 kills, and now it's a 5v2. Our ult can actually start to cause us a little bit of issues because you usually, once we get it down to that low, you want to keep the sight lines open for everybody to ensure easier trades. So it can be a little bit of a double-edged sword, but I don't think it's ever going to be enough that I wouldn't want to put it on A tier. Yoru ult, I don't think I want to put it on D with the rest. I actually think I want to put Yoru ult on C, because it's like a drone on crack, and when you have your teammates that are actually able to communicate and you're telling everybody where we want to go, I really think that I can put Yoru ult onto C. You get beautiful information. It's similar to a Cypher ult, but similar to like a Cypher ult in the fact that you're getting a lot of information, but Cypher is just only 6 ult points, and it always will show you where everybody is. Well, Yoru literally has to run and tell everybody what's going on. I guess this also, you could argue maybe to a B. I'm going to keep it at C, but you could maybe argue it to a B, because if you're going into a site with like a KJ or a Cypher, you are going to be able to see the utility. So I guess you could argue it's maybe a little bit higher, but I don't think I would put it any higher, and I don't think we're going to see Yoru that often anyways, right? Yeah, the fact that you can flash and use your utility in Yoru ult, yeah, you could argue that too. It does create a lot of chaos too, which is why, like, I really think it'd be between B and C, but I'm gonna keep it on C. Astra ult, I feel like has to be an A. It's so good for takes, can be so good for retakes as well. Maybe could even argue S in a 5v5 competitive, right? So we're not, this is ultimate. So with Premier being, with Premier coming out, if you guys are just popping in now, we're choosing alts. This is all alts, not the characters. This is all based on their alts in a Premier setting where, you know, it's very competitive. It's not like ranked, where ranked, all these can be completely different. This is all based on when we have set strats. Everybody's playing, like, you know, every round matters and everything is like, there's a lot of cohesion between both the teams. I feel like we have to put Astra ult on A though. You could argue an S. I think you can absolutely argue an S for it too, honestly, but I'm gonna keep it on A only because it can be used as a double-edged sword in some spots too. Give you some fake information. Feel a little bit safer in some spots. Probably should be S though. This is probably just me only wanting to put it on A, but really good to take in for post plants. His ult is absolutely awful now. We'll put it on C. We'll put it on C instead of D though, just because it is a killing ult. Actually, maybe B. Similar to this ult. Similar to these ult. It's not quite It's not anywhere near as S tier as it was before, right? Where it was basically a Marshall one-shotting everybody. We'll put it on B, I guess, because of the economy value you can have off of it. We'll argue it's a B tier for 5v5 competitive. Also, it's an APA if you're ever on an eco. Exactly, yeah. So I think we can argue it here because then they can still buy guns for the rest of their teammates, right? So you can make and change the flow of your game, economy game, because it's just an op, bro. It's an op for free. It's kind of wild. In competitive, I can't put this, I feel like, any lower than A. Fade tier, fade alt. I feel like I almost want to put it S tier. I'm going to put another S tier with Fade. Fade has to be S tier because it actually takes away the sound. Like it there's multiple things that we might not be paying attention to when it's going on, because when we get hit by it, it's just chaos either way, but it blocks the minimap. So you can actually use this to counter like a Cypher alt, right? So like right when they Cypher alt, if they Fade alt, they don't get the information on their minimap. They still can look and like look around and actually see where players are, but they don't get the exact information of exactly where all 5 enemies are. Also, it takes away their health, which is ridiculous, and it shows coils on the ground. I don't know how I could put this anywhere else but S tier in a 5v5. I can't. I just can't do it. I'm not. It's hard for me to put that anywhere else. Harbor alt, I think it's going to be between A and B. Super good for post plants. Super good for retakes. Super good for takes on any site. I think I want to put it more towards A because it does minimally, even if it's really easy. I know it's really easy to dodge the splashes going on, and it's easy to get out of. But the bigger thing, like we're talking about information, it gives information. You can hear the waves crashing from where people are playing. So let's say you're taking Lotus, taking A on Lotus, you use it through tree all the way into A, you get to hear if it's splashing through on tree or anybody that's on site. It does make you move a ton. It gives you information. You could even argue possibly S tier with this alt, but I'm going to put it on A just because it's really easy to dodge. It's nowhere near like a Fade alt. Fade alt has to go S. And last but not least, Gecko. In a 5v5 scenario, I think at best, I could put it at a B tier. For a couple reasons. It does cause a reaction, right? A good breach can just, a good breach, knowing where the Gecko is ulting, can just blaster pack and make them punished, like absolutely punish them. But it's more of, it's just so easy to kill. In a 5v5 scenario, this ult is going to have, it's going to really struggle to get a lot of value from like actually detaining people. Way too easy to shoot. I almost really want to put it C, actually, believe it or not. But even though it dies really easily, if we have our duelists actually running up with it no matter what, they have to choose between shooting the ult or shooting our duelists, right? So there is still a lot of value from it. But I still say, that's why I don't think I can put it quite at C, because there's still, it's causing a lot of chaos. It forces you to make a decision. And I think still, well executed correctly, you're still going to be able to get pretty solid value from it. His whole kit, I think, is going to be awesome value either way. Wingman planning, the flashing, his kit is really solid. And even a B tier all, I really hope we see a lot more Gecko. I'd say that this is probably pretty accurate with what I would say for... I'm just giving it one more look over. Is there anybody else that I'd want to really move around? No, I actually really like this. You think more C for Gecko ult? I just think, again, even though the ult itself alone isn't going to get you as much value, like it would give you C tier value, the fact that you have to shoot it or you have to run away while your duelists are running in with it, I think that you're still going to get a ridiculous amount of value. So I would say this is my tier list for Premier League 5v5 competitive play. Ultimates. Only ultimate abilities. This is not for the characters themselves, but just for their ults we were talking about. Thoughts? Would you guys move anything? Kitsoni says, all I would do is switch Viper and KJ. I actually can see Viper being S tier, but The problem is when Viper can just get util dumped though too, right? Kelsey says I'd switch. I'm assuming Yoru and Sova. These two. Sova ult just creates, so it's good post plants. So why I would do this is really good post plants, and for even takes, like it just causes a lot of chaos. So you can just start sniping through angles, which will allow, like, it'll create sight lines that get broken for your duelist to be able to move in, right? So that's why. Oh my gosh, what the frick? Emergency stuff going off right now. It says there's a tornado warning. We'll see though. And then your ult. Yeah, it's not about being good at the ults, right? That was for the track phone. The track phone might just be a little bit weird. The Yoru ult, Yoru ult, you're just kind of stuck, and it's kind of easy to counter. Like once you learn how Yoru ult works, and it's like all based on the sight line, you kind of know where he is all the time. So it's hard for me to want to put him any higher than this at all. Like I can't bring him up to B in my opinion. I can't do it. Nick Salt's in the wrong place, but whatever he says. I put it at B, which I still think it's really good. The problem is, Thuggy, like, you can't argue with me that you can't tell me that KOL is, or that Phoenix ult is even close to KOL, right? There's no way. In a 5v5 scenario, there's just no way. KJ ult literally can make or break rounds though. Like it literally like makes rounds appear. It literally allows, you have full control over the round when you have a KJ ult. And yes, you can counter it, like we're saying with Brim, with the Sova. So there are ways to stop it. Raze, I guess, nade and satchels and stuff too. I guess I think his Molly breaks it too. Pretty sure. I think I would rate Cypher's ult S tier, but I just like the two pings. It feels now with a lot of good info. Hey, Biscuit. I would be down to put Cypher as S tier, also because Cypher, stop. Also because Cypher is 6 ult points, you could argue that it could be S tier. Biscuit, I wasn't telling you stop. I was telling the phone, by the way, buddy. Phone was yelling at me. Hey, buddy. So yeah, you could maybe argue Cypher's ult a little bit higher. I would do the switch because Viper can use her ult in more scenarios, for example, in a 1v1 clutch. I actually don't think I would want to use a Viper ult always in a 1v1 clutch, though, too, right? Why is Jet S tier? Because economy. You got to think of economy as well. And the fact that you can just literally throw one single click and kill people. It's hard for me to not want to put it anywhere but here. And you could be flying, you could be running full speed, which we know how important it is to have momentum in your swings, to be ahead in your fights. It's hard for me to put this anywhere else. Phoenix has high vulnerability to ult. Yeah, that's another thing too. Phoenix ult can be completely countered by a breach aftershock, right? Like if we know where he's ulting, we can either wait it out or just time our aftershock and just kill him. On a real note, no, but still it's better than everything, Thuggy says. Fair. Fair. I feel like Cypher ult isn't as good as you're ranking it, though. Info is nice, but a good fade serves that purpose. Yes, but you can't just stack 5 fades on your team, right? Yeah, I already agree that fade ult is S tier. Thuggy, I 100% agree. The ability to know where every person is on the map is insane. Absolutely insane. Chambers ult is the same way, but it's B because it doesn't. You can only really get 1 kill per with old Chamber ult is 100% in S tier, no questions. New Chamber ult, I actually put it in B because of the economy. I could have even placed it a little bit lower just because it's only an op. It's really only an op at the end of the day, which it is a big deal. But it's hard for me to want to put it any higher than B in a strict Premier setting. Seasonal coming in with the 18-month resub. Thank you so much, Seasonal. Hey, much love. No, but what I mean is KJL feels way too situational. On top of that, it's easily countered, like timing to util dump the entry point as it goes through. Yes, Kitsoni, I can see what you're saying. I can see what you're saying. I just feel like it really causes there's a reason why all the pros are playing a lot of KJ in their games, and it really is her obviously her utility is good either way, being able to molly the bomb for post plants, just the info that you can get from your turret and your alarm bot, super value. But I really think the real reason that a lot of teams are choosing the KJ is because of the value of the ult. And again, all of these might change based on map too. I'm really trying to do a general based on like the maps that these would be used. But I would say generally it's hard for me to want to budge from this in me. Watermelon. Thank you so much for the T1. Thank you. Welcome. Hope you're having a wonderful Saturday. Sure, but 90% of the Jets with their knives. Yes, Toast, yeah, I get that. But I'm saying this is, again, not based on ranked. This entire tier list is based on Premier League, assuming that we've been scrimming, we're practicing, we have set strats with all of our teams. We based our alts off of those. If we want to do this for ranked alt tier lists, like this is going way up, this is going up, this would probably go up as well. Honestly, it's hard to put anything in D tier. If maybe just Omen alt you could put low for, but the rest of these alts in ranked, I actually would put up even higher because it's going to be a lot different. Right? K ult is trash because you can just kill him. No, but he suppresses everybody. This one to me is like the one of probably, if not the best ult I can possibly think of for Premier. I was told just based off the alts themselves, not a scrim setting. Yeah. So that's what we base this on, just so we're clear, yeah. All right. It is 4 o'clock my time. I think we're getting on in a couple hours. I think I'm going to take a couple hours break. I'm going to call... I'm going to actually hit a marker here because I'm going to probably highlight this and put it... We might see this into a YouTube video at some point, especially because Premiere's out. Could be a good idea to put that into a YouTube video.